Hi folks, Dave Schmidt here. It's Thursday night about 7 o'clock my time, and I want to give you this quick update via video because it's much quicker than me being able to write a full newsletter. I'll have more to say in the next day or two. But wow, has there been some big news today. You're going to want to hear what I have to say, because here's the bottom line. We just might be receiving our 800 numbers tomorrow. I'm not exaggerating on that, and let me tell you why. About a week ago, I put out a video saying that I thought that the reasons for the constant delays was because there was a potential sting operation that was going on. It was extremely important that the cabal, the Illuminati, the New World Order, whoever you want to call them, it was extremely important that they be removed from power and be neutered before the RV can be released to us. I had a really strong suspicion about that. That stuff had been building within me. There were things I just couldn't tell you because I would be disclosing information that just was not ethical to do so. Well, today the news was released. If you have not gone to DinarRecaps.com and looked at the post by Exogen, which is also referred to as Stage 2 Omega, that's exactly what he is saying. He is saying that all of the delays that have been going on is because there has been a sting operation, and I'm using that term, but that's been going on behind the scenes for some time, so in essence they can capture the cabal. Over 20,000 of them that they have reeled in. I'll let you go there and read that for yourself. But here's what he has been saying, what two others have been saying. It is very likely we may receive our 800 number tomorrow. Now also, if you listened to my radio program last night, and I would urge you to do so, you heard about the conversation that I had with two gentlemen back on Monday evening. These two gentlemen have been involved in the reval for close to 8 years. They have a really good understanding that was what is going on. And they were basically telling me the same thing, but I couldn't say everything that was happening. But they gave me some really solid information. Here's what I am saying. Here's what I am understanding. We know and we understand there's been the constant frustration from what's been coming down from TNT Tony and some of the others. What I'm going to say is my opinion. I think Tony has been the one that has been, I don't want to use the term used, but he has been the vehicle to keep this hype going so they could reel in and they could capture more of the cabal. He has been a blessing to us in that ways. Was a lot of his information crazy? Yeah. Was it consistently wrong? Yeah. But it served to have a good purpose. I don't want to go into details about that. There's other stuff that I'm just going to let it be about the potential and the reasons for that. But it's all starting to pan out, and it's all starting to make sense. When Tony was reporting these extremely high rates and saying that they were at $38 and $42, here's what we're beginning to see. Those rates, it looks like those rates are going to be for the U.S. government in their oil credits. Those are the rates that the government is going to get in the oil credits exchange with Iraq. They're not going to receive them in cash. They're going to receive them in a dollar basis for purchasing the oil. For the rest of us who have purchased the dinar, it's beginning to look like we're going to get the market rate, which at this time appears to be right around $3.87. Now here's another thing that was told to me from the two gentlemen that I talked to on Monday night. If you are a part of the General's 64 private group email list, and that list was closed back in the early summer, it appears at this time that that contract is going to be honored. And what they told me on Monday night, at that time the rate was $5.12. Not the $3.87, and they are still working through the details, but there is a possibility that that $5.12 rate may also be tax-free because it was a part of the original agreement and the contract that was established some years ago. And what happened was the list continued to grow, and in late summer they had to cut the list off. And so if you are not on that list, it's very highly you're going to get the $3.87. If you are, there's a very good possibility you're going to get the $5.12. When I was finishing up the contract, I mean the conversation with the gentleman on Monday night, I asked them, is there any one specific thing that I need to tell the folks on the radio program? And they said, yes, this is extremely important. If you are on the General 64 rate, I should say the General 64 email list, the private group list, if you are on that list, it's extremely important that you do not rush into the bank and cash in a 25,000 dinar note. Doing so may disqualify you from the contract to receive the $5.12 rate. What they said, just wait. Be patient and wait until the news comes out. Now, what they had told me on Monday night was if we did not see this by the end of the week, it very likely would be delayed until after the first of the year. Here's my opinion. I think we're probably going to get it tomorrow. Why? I think the federal government wants us to cash in because there are 4 to 5 million people who will be cashing in at the market rate, and they will have to pay capital gains tax, and they will be taxed on that in this calendar year. So they want those people cashing in before December 31st so that they can get the tax revenue for this year. Now that's my opinion, but I think it kind of makes sense. But here's something you may want to take into consideration. Wait and see what's going to happen. If you're on the General 64 list, be patient until you get the 800 number and the instructions for that. If you are not on that list and you are going to be subject to the 387 with capital gains taxes, then cash in a small amount and then watch the rates day by day till the end of the year, and you may want to wait until January 1st to cash in because a capital gains tax is not imposed until the gain is realized. That means the tax will take effect the day that you cash in your currencies. If you wait until January 1st, it means those taxes will apply to the 2014 tax year, and you may be able to delay all the way until April 2015 before you have to pay that 39.6% tax. That means you get to allow that 40% money to sit in your accounts to do what you want, and you can make that money, allow it to earn you money over those 15 months versus having to pay it in April of 2014. You do what's right for you. But folks, wow, this may finally be it. Because it wasn't just Exogen wasn't the only one that said it. There are 3 different posts on Dinar Recaps today that are basically saying the same thing. It's now done. They've done their work. They were able to, in essence, capture the people that they wanted to capture, to remove them from the picture because they didn't want the cabal to become wealthy through the dinar revaluation. Now let me tell you something else that the gentleman told me on Monday night, and those are for those of you who are holding dong. They did not have any exact information on is the dong going to be revalued at the same time as the dinar. They don't know, but they have a very good suspicion, or I should say a hunch, that it's going to be fairly close. And they said at that time the rate for the dong is 47 cents. It's not going to be the high rates that Tony had been talking about. And that makes sense because when we go back to during the summertime, when the rates for months where the dinar was in the 350 range and the dong was always in that 47 cent range, there were 3 really good sources of intelligence that were coming out that were consistent. It was a guy who goes by the Admiral in Reno. He wasn't posting, but people were reporting what was going on. It was all this activity that was taking place and people coming and going from Reno. The other was the General 64s group. They were putting stuff out about once a week. And the third one was Jester. all of those three were on the same page. And then all of a sudden, they just quit reporting and they went silent. We've only heard from Jester maybe twice since summertime. But in those 2 times, Jester himself was saying this was not going to take place until December. It was almost like he knew what was going on, and the others, they knew what was going on, and they just backed off, became silent, and was letting the process work itself out because they knew the money was not going to be released until the cabal had been apprehended. And it looks like it's happened. Wow. This just may be it. I hope it is. I'm telling you the information as it's coming to me. It will be so nice if we can wake up in the morning, the 800 numbers are there, and we can go in and get some money and have a nice Christmas. Folks, I will write this up in an email newsletter in the next couple of days, but I wanted to get this information out to you quickly. You're going to enjoy this news. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support that you've given to me over the last 2.5 months. It's been a pleasure for me, and I want you to know, if it happens, I'm here. I expect a ton of emails coming from you guys. I'm going to be sending out newsletters. They will probably come in video format because I can do it much quicker than I can do in writing it. And I'll be giving you some direction and information that is my opinion about direction that you can take to cash in your exchange. This may be it, folks. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye-bye.